Everyone. My name is Tejas Patil, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, SIT Sevai, Yatra. Today we are going to see that the types of the rail section. Already we have to seen in last lecture the definition of the rails, functions of the rail and requirement of the ideal rails. Now today we have to start the types of the rail section. There are the main three types of the rail section is double headed rails, second one bull headed rails and third one is the flat footed rails. This is the image of the types of rail section. First one is the double headed rails. It is the meaning that the top section and bottom section size is the same. Here we say that is 70 mm. The head section size and bottom section size is same and wedge section size is 19 mm. Then the height of the double-headed rail is 152.5 mm. This is distributed in three sections, that is top section, middle section and bottom section. Here we see the top section and bottom section height size of the height is same, that is the 44.5 mm, and middle section size is the 63.5 mm. Second one is the bull headed rails. The bull headed rails, it is the meaning that the head section it is the longer than bottom section. That is head section size is the 68.7 mm and bottom section size is the 65.5 mm and web section size is the 16.3 mm and the total height of the bull headed rails is the 144.5 mm. This is distributed in three sections. The top section height is the or head section height is the 46 mm, the middle section height is 65.5 mm and bottom section height is the 33 mm. Again, last type of the rail section is flat footed rail. The flat footed rail, it is the meaning that the head section it is the smaller than bottom section. That is the head section size is the 66.7 mm, middle section size is the 13.9 mm, that is the web section, and bottom section size is the 136.5 mm. The total height of the flat footed rail is 142.9 mm. This is the head size of the head is 43.7 mm. The height of the middle section is 78.6 mm and bottom section height is the 20.6 mm. Now we have to see that types of rail in detail. First type, double-headed rails. These were the rails which were used in beginning, which were double-headed and consisting of a dumbbell sections. The idea behind using these rails was that when the head was worn out in course of time, the rail can be inverted and reused. That is meaning that after continuous using of the rail, it is a possibility or definitely in wearing section or worn section. That time we cannot use the rails. That cause that time he's thinking that the bottom section is the inverted in top section and top section is inverted to bottom section. That cause we have to rail is reused, but time passed, the intentions were formed that the lower table due to which smooth running over the surface of the top was impossible, and this type of the rails is practically out of use in Indian railways. And this is the double headed, and this is the actual image or photo of the double headed rails. Here we see the top section and bottom section size is same, just like a dumbbell section. Next one is the bull-headed rails. In this type of the rail, head was made little thicker or stronger than the lower part by adding more metal to it so that can withstand the stresses. Bull-headed rails are especially used for the making of points and crossing purpose. Here we see that the here additional metal used in the head section compared to bottom section. This is the purpose of the as the rail is using for the points and crossing purpose. And this is the actual photo. Here is seen the additional or stronger of the head section compared to bottom section. Next point, merits of the pull headed rails. It is the rails give better alignment and provide smoother and stronger track. Second, these rails are provide longer life of to wooden sleepers and hence renewal of track is easy. Third one, these rails are easily removed from sleepers and hence renewal from track is easy. That is meaning of repair and maintenance is very less. Demerits. It is the rails requires the additional cost of iron chairs because of the in head section we have to use the additional metal that the cost of iron is high. Next one is that these rails require heavy maintenance cost. These rails are less strength and stiffness. That cause we have to use this type of the rail only on purpose of the points and crossing purpose. Next one is the flat-footed rails. These rails are also called as Vignol's rails. Initially, the flat-footed rails were fixed to sleepers directly and no chairs and keys were required. That what is the chairs and keys we have to see in future slides. Later on, due to heavy trains loads problem arose which led to steel bearing press between the sleeper and the rail. At the rail joints and other important places, these rails which are most commonly used in India. This is the this type of the rails we have to use nowadays in India in 90%. Here we see that head section, web section and foot section. And this is the actual photo of the flat footed rail. It is we seen that the head section it is smaller than bottom section. And it is we have to see the steel bearing plate it is laid on the between the rail and sleeper because of the heaviest load we have to taken. Next, merits of the flat footed rails. It is flat footed rails have more strength and stiffness. These rails require less number of fastening. This maintenance of the cost of track formed with flat footed rails is less and demerits the fittings get loosened more frequently. These rails are not easily removed and hence renewal of track becomes difficult. And it is difficult to manufacture points and crossing using these rails. That is meaning that as per the purpose, the points and crossing we have to use bull-headed type of the rail, and for the longitudinal rail we have to use the flat-footed rails. Next point is the length of rails. Here we see that what is the actual one rail length of the rail. The most commonly broad gauge length is the 13 meter, although double length rails is just 26 meter are seen in some places. Next one is in meter gauge, usually the length of meter gauge is 12 meter and narrow gauge length is the 9 meter, and much earlier rails were generally produced in size of 11, 12 and or 40 yards and less commonly 30 yards or 10 yards. It's depending as per this requirement of the situation we have to use the various length of the rails. Where it is used broad gauge requirement to broad gauge we have to use 30 meter, in single or double length we have to use 26 meter. In meter gauge if we requirement as per the situation meter gauge we use the length of the rail is the 12 meter, and at the situation we have to use if is needed the use of the narrow gauge. The length of the narrow gauge is 9 meter, or either we have to use the 11, 12 or 40 yards, or less commonly 30 yards or 10 yards. Is totally depending on the situation and actually requirement of the site. Next one is the welding of the rails. The welding connection it is the we know that the welding connection it is the better than the bolted connection at every time. The welding of rails it is a purpose that to increase the length of the rails, to repair the worn out or damaged rails, to build up the worn out points and rails on these sharp curves. That meaning that the welding of the rails, we have to use that any type of the rail purpose, or that is the longitudinal purpose, or the sharp curves, or the sharp curves or turnouts purpose, or as the purpose of the points and crossing. This is stronger than the bolted connection anytime. The welded rail section are two types. The first section is short welded rail, that is the just two or three rails are welded connected together, and long welded rail which covers anything longer. That is mean if requirement is the short type of the short type of the welding, that time we have to connect it at a time two or three railways, or if requirement is the long welded rail, we have to which covers the anything longer. The welding of the rails is carried on the depot by the flash butt welding process, and it's at side by the thermit welding process. This all the process is done by the in manufacturing or depot plant, and after that we have to welding in again inside with the help of the thermit welding process. Next one is the advantages of the welding rails. The first, welding of the rails increase the life of the rails due to decrease in wear of the ends. That is the where it is reducing the wearing of the rails. Second one is the welded rails provide the more comfort to the passenger due to smooth running of wheels over welded joints. That is meaning that when we travel in railway, we know that the vibrations are done. The passenger had to more facing the problems due to the vibrations. This is the minimized with the helping of the welding connections. The welding of rails reduce the creep because of frictional resistance increase with the increase in rail length. What is the creep of rail and what is the effect on creep rails, and how we control if we have to see in future slide. Fourth one is the as discontinued rails is reduced, the defects such as hammering or rail joints, displacement of joint, disturbance and alignment and running surface are also eliminated. That is the most important for the smoothing of the railway. The hammering or rail joints, it is known as the vibrations. And next one is the displacement. Due to heaviest load, it is a possibility to displacement of the joint and disturbance of the alignment. If anyone part of the permanent way is settled down, that time the disturbance alignment is a possibility, and then running surface are also eliminated, that is minimized. Fifth one is the welded rail panel provides a better track circulating on the electrified tracks. Sixth one, welded rails provide a better performance and reduce the effects of impact on large span bridges. It is useful for the bridge railways. Next one is the long welded rail length dampness the intensity of the high frequency vibrations due to moving loads. Next, welding increases the life and decreases the wearing of the rails. This is an important factor. Next one is by welding of rails, the cost of track construction decreases due to eliminated large number of rail joints. We have to know that we need the rail joints, the various parts requirement, that means fish plate, fastening or fixture. This will be reduces with the help of the welding the rails. Next, fast and heavy traffic may be permitted on the track with the welded rails. If the speed of the train is the highest or is above the 180 km per hour or 200 km per hour, that time you have to need the welding connection or welding connection of the rail. Next, the use of the long welded rails affords better longitudinal, lateral and vertical stability of the track. Is the most important factor for the smoothing and without disturbance travel, and without disturbance of the traveling of the railways. Next one, in welded rail panel, the number of joints is less. This saves the fuel consumption as well as the eliminates the loss of train and impact of energy at rail joints. In welded rail panels, the risk of sabotage and accidents are considerably reduced. We have to control the accidents with the help of the rail joints because the rail joints life is the better than the bolted joints. And welding rails reduces the maintenance cost by about 20% to 40%. This is the most important part because the maintenance repair is a very important factor after the continuous railway traffic. That time we have to reducing the 20% or 40% of the cost of with the helping of the welded connections. Next one is the wearing on rails. Wearing it is one of the prominent defects of the rails. Due to heavy loads, concentrated stresses exceed the elastic limit, resulting in metal flow on the gap or joints. The ends are battered, and the curves are the occurrence of this skidding, slipping, and striking of the wheels flanges with rails result in wearing and tear on rails. We have to know that wearing and tearing, wear and tear, that is a continuous using of the any material. This is possibility wearing and tearing. Here with that the load of the heavy load is coming on the railway or rail track. These possibilities are that or definitely is the wearing on the rails is the happen that we have to control or resist the wear on rails with the help of various methods. We see next slide. This is the wear of the rails. That actually three types of the wear of the rails is the possibility or happen. The first wear on head of the rail, the second wear on ends of the rail, and wear of rail on the curve. It is the turning position or sharp curves. The classification of is on the basis of location, on sharp curves, on gradients, on apertures of the station, and second on the in coastal area, and on the basis of position of wear. It is on the top of rail, at the end of rail, and on the sides of the rail. And this is the wearing of the rails. The first is the top rail wear, inner rail or top wear, and outer rail top and side wear. Here you see that the blur is the in top rail wear is the 1 in 20 or the slope. The inner rail into top rail, the blur is the in 1 in 20, and another wherein inside of the outer rail it is the here seen that the actual side or skidding or siding of the rail track or different distance of the rail track. Here you see that when the two rails are connected, it is the possibility is the wearing of the rail is the done, or wearing of the rail is the created. The wearing of rail wear on head rails. Wear on head rails due to the abrasion of moving rails, due to grinding action of the sand or dust between the rails and wheel of the train. This is the happen due to the sands of the or grinding dust of the railways wheels is the continuous friction with the rail track that cause the wearing of head rails is possible or done. When train starts or applies the brakes, the wheel just slides on these rails, causing wear on the head. This is another cause. When the station are nearing, that time the loco pilot done the loco pilot or have the break the rail. That time the braking at the time of the braking of the railway, this is the possibility of the wearing on head rail. Next one is the load coming on track may exceed the carrying capacity of the section, thus causing the wear of the head rail. And this is a blur section, that is a gauge slide, and this is a wear. The third one, the point is the heaviest load, the maximum load coming on the rail that cause, or a maximum load coming on the head of the rail that cause the wearing of the head rail is the done.